DC Nation, and welcome to another Darth Easy Rankings. I enjoy doing ranking videos, and this one I've been meaning to do for a while, but I wasn't feeling good all last month. And I just never really felt like doing it. So now I'm finally doing my rankings of the DCEU, FU, whatever the universe is called. The movies are all scattered, but so far there's been 11 DC movies. And no, the Dark Knight trilogy doesn't count. The old Superman movies do not count. The Batman, the Tim Burton, the Schumacher Batmans do not. Constantine. This is everything that's in the timeline of the current DC movie universe. So also, the Joker does not count, because that is not technically in the DCEU at the moment. It might be eventually, but right now, it's not. So we have 11 movies to pick from, and to be honest with you, this is a pretty easy list to come up with, because the crap of the DCEU, it's the crap. And then the good of the DC is in my opinion, some of the best, but this can be a little bit of a controversial list. But in my opinion, this is my list of the DCEU. The bottom is pretty straightforward, so let's get right to it. So at number 11, I'm going with the 2016's version of Suicide Squad. I hate this movie, and you know, Suicide Squad, all I want them to be is we're the bad guys. We are being forced by the government to go after terrorists or something that's very impossible to do. And I don't believe Warner Bros. Allowed David Ayer to direct the movie great, because you know, David Ayer, great director. I mean, End of Watch, such a good movie. If you haven't checked that out, there's the only two pieces of the movie I really enjoyed was I really liked Will Smith's Deadshot. I really thought he captured the character really well, and I did like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. I wasn't crazy about Jared Leto's Joker, but I was interested to see him play the Joker again. Unfortunately, it looks like we never will. So yeah, Suicide is the worst of the DCEU. I'll be shocked if there's a movie worse than that one. At number 10, I'm going with Justice League, the Whedon cut. That's right, I've cut there's two Justice League movies in my opinion, and it's crazy though. So yeah, this movie I've only seen the one time. I've seen bits and pieces of it on TV, and I hate it every time I watch it. I mean, the Joss Whedon's MCU, his humor just does not work for these characters. I mean, I don't want Batman jokey. When Batman's cracking jokes, he has a very dry sense of humor, and so I don't want my Batman telling jokes. Instead, one was just such a terrible villain, and also the CGI lip for Superman, because they didn't want that Henry Cavill's contract with Mission Impossible meant he had to keep the mustache, otherwise Warner Bros. owed Paramount so much money. Like, why couldn't he have grown it out into a goatee and made it more like the traditional Superman comes back to life look? That could have been easily done, but they did not decide to do that, which was a real shame. And this movie is just terrible, and I never want to watch the movie again. At number 9, I'm going with Wonder Woman 1984. I really enjoyed most of this movie. I will say the movie is a little too long for its own good. The movie could have been a little better, especially with bringing in Kristen Wiig's Cheetah. I like her in the movie, because I like Kristen Wiig, but it reminded me a little bit of Batman Forever at times, with comparing her to like Jim Carrey a little bit. I like seeing Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor, Chris Pine, back in the row. I thought they have great chemistry with each other, and I love seeing the Invisible Jet. For being a nerd of DC movies, and seeing the Invisible Jet in the film was an awesome moment for me as a lover of DC. So for that alone, it's better than the two movies, and the action shot well, and I do like seeing Pedro Pascal in the movie. At number 8, I'm going with Birds of Prey, solely for the sake that the movie's action was really good. I really do enjoy Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn's character, and also I really like the girl that plays Huntress. I thought that was great, and I was also interested in bringing in the Birds of Prey and bringing in Black Canary. I thought that stuff was very cool in the film. But what kills me about this movie is a very Me Too movement style movie about these every guy in Gotham City is an absolute asshole, and you just don't the story just didn't grab me. The action was shot well, but overall, the movie doesn't stay with me. It's one I never want to rewatch again, but it's okay. At number 7, I'm going Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. There's some good stuff in this movie. Yes, Ben Affleck's Batman might be one of my favorite Batmans in the movie, and I'm going with the Ultimate Edition of this film, the director's cut version of Justice League of Batman v Superman. I think it was it's so much better. It makes it a little more of a Superman movie, where the original cut makes it more of a Batman movie. And I do at times I like what Jesse Eisenberg is doing as Lex Luthor, as he's just pitting these two titans against each other, and that's something Lex Luthor definitely would do. I don't know, this movie just it had its moments for me. I think they pumped so much stuff into this movie because they're trying to catch up to Marvel. The basically the Dawn of Justice, showing all the characters in there. Seeing Wonder Woman for the first time in this movie was awesome. Gal Gadot, you would think not that great, because I watched the Fast and the Furious movie she's in, and she's not really that great in the film, but she's pretty damn good in this film. And like I said, and then I like the whole the politics, and with Holly Hunter, or is it Holly Hunter? Yeah, Holly Hunter, or yeah, whatever her name is whenever they're like, does the world actually need a Superman? That could have made an incredible Superman movie on its own, and it's just sad this is the closest thing to Man of Steel we've ever really gotten, and maybe one day we'll see that. At number 5, I'm going with Aquaman. Aquaman is a movie I just checked out a few months ago. I don't know why I've never watched it before, and I have to say I really enjoyed Aquaman. I really like James Wan directing this film. I thought the movie had a very fun sense to it. I thought Jason Momoa really kills it as Aquaman. I like how he's a man of two worlds. They don't want to accept him, and the people of Atlantis are trying to wage war on the human world. I even like Amber Heard. I know she's a tainted actress right now with all the stuff going on with her and Johnny Depp, but I even like her in the film. And the action is shot really cool, seeing Willem Dafoe in the movie. I mean, the movie has a lot of good parts for me, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Aquaman 2. And I love how it's basically Lord of the Rings underwater. I love the fight scenes between Aquaman and Ocean Master. Ocean Master, and I'm a big fan of Aquaman, and I really like seeing Momoa really make the character more of a awesome action hero after he being the joke for the last 30-40 years. Entourage really didn't help that much either. Correction, Aquaman was my number 6. At number 5, I'm going with Justice League: The Snyder Cut. It's crazy. You add an hour and a half worth of footage into Justice League, and the movie completely changes tone, and it's a completely different movie. I loved everything that Zack Snyder did for this movie, and maybe just because I'm such a big DC nerd that I absolutely love it. I mean, when I see Darkseid and the Omega Beams kill Wonder Woman, I was like, oh my god, that is incredible. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I love seeing all the characters interact with each other. I love seeing the Flash whenever he's running, and then everything kind of happens, and then he goes back in time. I thought it was a very cool understanding of how his power. And the movie really interacts the Flash's comedy with Batman, where he's like, "So what's your superpower?" He's like, "I'm rich." I mean, it's cool. And Ben Affleck's not making jokes like he is in the Whedon cut. Steppenwolf, he's just a guy trying to return home, and so you compare with the characters. So it's just crazy. You add this hour and a half worth of scenes, the ending of the movie where it's basically setting up like a Mad Max DC movie, the black Superman suit, and I just love this movie. I really enjoyed it, and I would totally see another movie with Zack Snyder directed. And also The Martian Manhunter, as someone who watched the Justice League animated series and saw the Martian Manhunter in that show, and then see him in the movie, it also makes Man of Steel a little better. Love this film. At number 4, I'm going with the 2021's version of Suicide Squad. Yes, Suicide Squad was a very fun movie. James Gunn was allowed to go crazy with it and do all kinds of different stuff, bring in all kinds of different characters. I love how they open the movie. It's a Suicide Squad. It's basically Normandy's Beach. Everyone gets wiped out, murdered, and killed, and I enjoyed every second of it. Harley Quinn's the best version of Harley Quinn I have seen so far. It was cool seeing Idris Elba as Bloodsport. Very cool character I knew little about. Also cool seeing King Shark in this film. Especially voiced by Sylvester Stallone, great. Him, and then also you had John Cena as Peacemaker, which are now doing an HBO series around him, so that's cool. And also, it's also cool to see Amanda Waller just being the bitch she is. I mean, Viola Davis just does such a great job as that character. So yeah, Suicide Squad movie was very fun. It was balls to the wall, James Gunn like. And I don't know if they'll make another Suicide Squad due to how much it bombed. And maybe Warner Brothers will finally maybe we should be releasing these movies on HBO, especially with Dune coming out. Do not release Dune on HBO Max. It will bomb and bomb at the theaters. Do not release it on HBO Max. What are you doing? My number 3 is Shazam! Yeah, Shazam is, I thought this movie was one of my favorites of the DCEU, where it kind of takes place in the DCEU, where everything has kind of happened, but it also feels a very Marvel-like feel. I love Zachary Levi playing Shazam, and I like the kid that plays Shazam, and I like how he balances between Shazam, figuring out what his powers are, and I thought the movie was very fun. To see the Marvel family was great in there. And also, I really like Mark Strong as the villain. I thought he played a really cool villain. And I like how the movie kind of even sets up Black Adam, where at the beginning of the movie it talks about the history of this power and how one man turned to the dark side. That's Black Adam. So everything this movie does and becoming a member of the family and the orphanage family that he is trying to be part of. I just thought this movie was great. I love Shazam. My number 2 is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is 2/3 of my favorite origin story in all superhero movies. And the third act becomes a little bit of a CGI superhero lights in the sky kind of film. But the first 2/3 of the movie, the origin of Themyscira, setting up in World War I, great. The love story, probably my favorite love story or romance in superhero movies between Wonder Woman and Chris Trevor was awesome, or Steve Trevor. And Chris Pine does a great job. The No Man Land scene alone makes this movie incredible. Like one of the most incredible shot things ever. I can't wait to see what Patty Jenkins does with Star Wars. If that movie still gets made, with how Wonder Woman 84 did at box office and such forth and critic wise. So yeah, and also I liked seeing Ares as the villain. I thought that was very interesting. David Duels as Ares, I thought was very interesting. And also seeing all the generic the characters, villains like Dr. Poison and the General. I enjoyed this movie. And my number 1 DCEU movie so far is Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel. This is one of my favorite movies. I mean, everything about this film is just great. I mean, they get the origin of Superman. You show the stuff back on Krypton with his father, who is Russell Crowe. Then whenever he comes to Earth, and then you see his other dad, Kevin Costner. I mean, and Kevin Costner really elevates this movie just because he's Kevin Costner. He's just such a great actor, and he elevates whatever he is in. But I also really like Henry Cavill's dang as Superman. I mean, I know people crap on the world of him destroying Metropolis, but he's not Superman yet. He's still learned to be Superman. He hasn't really controlled his powers, so he's not the Superman that we're used to. And Zod, Michael Shannon's General Zod is just such an incredible villain that I absolutely love. So yeah, this movie's great. I mean, I don't care what people say. I love the moment when he kills Zod, because if he doesn't kill Zod, he allowed innocent people to die, and that's not what Superman would do. Superman would break his code to save those people. And that scream, like, people make fun of it all the time, but that is such a scream of what have I done? And he just, because he destroyed what was left of his people. And Man of Steel is great. Henry Cavill kills it. I love Amy Adams being able to figure out who Superbad is because she's a prize-winning journalist. So, yeah, she would be able to figure out who Superbad is. I think that's a great moment for the movie. It completely changes the narrative of what we're used to seeing Superbad as. So, overall, the DCEU, it's a little bit of a mess. There are some strong movies in there, and I'm hoping that we're going forward. We got some interesting films coming forward. Like, we got Black Adam next year with The Rock. I've been looking forward to seeing that movie for years. We have a new Aquaman coming out. And then we have the Robert Pattinson. I don't know if it's connected to the DCEU, but I'm looking forward to seeing that Batman movie. So there's all kinds of cool stuff coming up with DCEU. I know I'm a DC. I give DC the benefit of the doubt because I'm a DC fan. I grew up watching Batman the animated series. I grew up watching Justice League the animated series. I watched the Tim Burton Batman movies. So I give DC a little more slack compared to Marvel, where Marvel I'm a little more harder on some of their films. But it's also, I'm not a hardcore fan of Marvel as I am to DC. So guys, what's your rankings of the DCEU? Where they are, comment below. Let me know, guys, if you like this video. If it doesn't, subscribe to see more. Tell your friends about Easy Nation. All too easy.